Hi, friends. This is kind of a difficult topic to summarize for me because, um, just to give a little bit of my history, I sort of have gone from like when I was very young, I was having a hard childhood, and I was like really like, oh, I'll just be an atheist from now on. But I was literally 8 years old. This was like my 8 year old opinion. And then I did meet some atheists, and then my one of my relatives was like, I think I'm gonna go atheist. And I was like, I don't think that really fits you. So I sort of tried to be like, knowing what I know now, I don't know if that fits you. Not that I'm trying to evangelize to anyone, but I just was like, I don't know if you really want to do that. Um, I couldn't see that person like really fitting in the atheist circles. I just felt like I had met some and whatever. But anyway, that's a digression. So I did spend some time as an atheist. Then I was a pagan. Then I went and met, I don't know, I floated around. Like I was like, maybe it's not really. Well, this kind of is why I'm doing this video. Um, I spent most of my time over the period of my life as in paganism. And one of the reasons that I appreciate paganism, I think because a lot of people came from other religion, like some people really think of paganism as like their serious religion, and some people are more eclectic. So it's like some people have like one pantheon where they're very devoted and it's their religion, and some people are more eclectic and they may not. I don't know, it's complicated, but um so in paganism though, like I think because people come from another usually come from are leaving like being indoctrinated with something else. Sorry about this. If I hold my camera with one hand, it goes um everywhere. But yeah, so they're like leaving being indoctrinated from somewhere else. And so it's important in paganism that there is this concept of uh, um unverified gnosis, unverified personal gnosis. I know I just totally messed up the term. I'm doing this, I'm having insomnia, and it's like the kind of insomnia where it's like, you haven't finished everything today. I mean, it's going nowhere, so I just thought I would try to record this. So it's going to possibly have some mistakes. So now, what I'm trying to talk about, and I also completely am recording this from scratch because I used sort of not a great example in one of my recordings of this. So, but let's say that you are like interested in the goddess Freya, but you like honestly do not know the Norse myths, or you don't have a familiarity yet. You have to be somewhat well, I'm not going to say have to be, okay? But I'm like a researcher that it makes me comfortable to like study, and I'm always researching things. So for me, I'm always aware of unverified personal gnosis, which is like you are totally, in paganism, it's totally legit to be like, I have this personal experience where like you know Freya is stepping forward in my life, and you can have like a totally awesome personal connection to Freya, and you can expect in paganism to usually have a two-way connection. So I mean, that's more of a thing accepted in paganism than in other uh, situations. And And yeah, I'm getting preoccupied with something on my screen. Hold on one second. So yeah, but the thing is, like, but it's like, not everybody who is a pagan becomes like a pagan clergy person. And sometimes, if you're not careful, you have to be aware that some of your experiences with Freya, for example, like, it's totally cool. You can have whatever experience you need to have with her, but that would be unverified personal gnosis, unless, like, you are also, like, doing some research, like, I mean, the thing is, the reason I'm bringing this up is, like, in Christianity, they have unverified personal gnosis too, where they're like, oh, I had this thing with JC and he said this, and then we know what is happening in that situation where a lot of people are like, I have to spread the word, I have to this, I have to that, because I had this personal experience with JC. And, yeah. So, I mean, in paganism, it's just that they do have the term of unverified personal gnosis, and I think maybe it has something to do with that. That it's like, unless you actually become like serious pagan clergy and you're really doing your research and you're really being somewhat grounded about it, like grounded, I feel like I said that wrong. Like, unless you're being somewhat grounded about it, people can be aware that some of what you're talking about is unverified personal gnosis. And so that's a big thing in paganism, and I guess that's why I'm back to paganism, although, not everyone would agree. Like, because I've floated to other traditions up and down for a little while, just the last year or two, or yeah, like 2-3 years, and came back to paganism because I'm comfortable there. I have relationships with some of the the higher spirits in paganism, and I'm still researching because more stepped forward in general, more recently, and I was like, oh, I guess they're welcoming me back and stuff. So that's how I came back. That's the shortest version I can tell about how I came back to paganism. But, one of the things, that gives me pause again of pushing any kind of stuff on any other people. Hold on a second. One of the things that gives me pause about pushing anything on any other kind of people is the fact that I know about unverified personal gnosis. And there's nothing wrong with having plenty of unverified personal gnosis. And like, it's perfectly normal that everyone has an individual experience with the divine or specific entities, like my relationship with Freya, if I had one. I don't have a huge one, but she's come up a few times, and my relationship with Freya, like, wouldn't be the same as somebody else's, and that's why we cross-reference with, like, historical documents in the cases of paganism. And so yeah, I mean, having an understanding of the history and making sure that your sources are more verifiable is a big part of being a pagan, at least for me. So I wanted to do a video on this. It's really not perfect. It's an insomnia video, and I really struggled. I've been struggling to make this video for like weeks and weeks and weeks, and then I was like, what if I take a week off to, like, and just a week off from YouTube and just make this video. But then I was like, but wait, why am I having this horrible insomnia? I guess I'm working on the video today. So anyway, if any of this has explained something that you didn't know before, if you like this kind of content, definitely, like, subscribe, leave a comment. We had a really cool conversation on my last video. I do have another one recorded that's already in place to go out next week, but I really wanted to do this one, and this was my planned video for next week, and then I failed to record it. I had to record it from scratch because I used an example, and then I'm like, I'm not comfortable with that example. So I've picked a different example. I hope it helps you. I hope this is illuminating. And I will definitely correctly spell this term, Unverified Personal Gnosis, in the description. Because I messed it up, but I do know how to spell it and everything and say it. And thanks for listening to me with my insomnia posting. And I was working on this video for weeks and weeks, and I hope this version works out. Have a wonderful week as always.